By now, you've heard for sure that the US has banned all solar inverters that were manufactured overseas, and the world's going to fall apart. And we're going to bring a little bit of sanity to this discussion. I know there are a lot of people out there who are overhyping it, trying to get you to buy more inverters and all that stuff right now because the sky is falling. It's really not as bad as it seems, but it doesn't mean that it's not bad. And it also doesn't mean that it's not ultimately good. So we're going to jump into it. I compiled an article on my website right here, easttexashomestead.com. The article is titled FCC Bans New Foreign-Made Solar Inverters, Complete Guide for DIY Solar 2026. Okay, this is a really long and exhaustive article. I mean, it goes into everything. I've read all of the FCC filings. I've read the government documentation. I've gone through so much of this so that you don't actually have to. As you can see, we're still going, and it's all really well cited. So here's the primary government documents if you're interested, the industry and news coverage, and the legal and regulatory background. All right, let's get back up to the article. I'm not going to read through this word for word, but I am going to put the link in the description if you want to share it with someone who is interested. And after this video goes live, I'm probably going to post it right here in the center of this. So you'll actually be able to just watch the video as a quick synopsis. So here's the deal. Yes, the FCC just banned new foreign-made solar inverters, but no, your current system is fine. A lot of us have, just like I do behind me, the 12,000 XPs, or you've got a Sol-Ark, or whatever it is, system that you've installed yourself or had someone install for you, and you're going, does this affect me? Not yet. So the TLDR, I'm going to put basically, I decided to put a little synopsis before each of these main, or after each of these main headlines, so you can kind of get the gist of what's in here. But just this week, on July 28th, 2026, the FCC banned new foreign-made solar inverters from receiving FCC approval. But every inverter already on the market today still completely legal to buy, sell, and use. You could probably just stop right now, but I know you don't want to. You want to know the full story. Okay. On July 28th, 2026, the Federal Communications Commissions, the FCC, officially added foreign-produced power inverters to its covered list. You want to know what its covered list is? You can click right here. I've gone ahead and done the links for you guys. Like I said, this is super well cited for you, which is the FCC's, which is the federal list of equipment considered a threat to national security. All right, I don't think these 12,000 XPs are a threat to national security, but they could be we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Okay. All right. This means that new solar inverter models manufactured outside the United States can no longer receive FCC equipment authorization for import or sell in the United States. If you've seen YouTube videos with scary headlines about grid lockout or an absolute ban on solar inverters, I understand the concern. So I read through all the actual government documents. True story. Actually sat down today, just read through them all. The national security determination, the FCC press release, and also I've linked to them if you want to go to those as well, and the industry coverage to figure out what this really means for those of us doing DIY solar and off-grid battery backup systems. Okay, so the short version and what the FCC solar inverter ban means for DIY solar. This is real. It's not a hoax. It's not fake news or YouTube hype. The FCC published official documentation on July 28th, 2026, adding foreign-produced power inverters to the covered list for national security. So nothing changes right now, this minute for you. Every solar inverter currently on the market that already has an FCC ID or filing is still legal to buy, sell, import, and use. So your 6,000 XP, your 12,000 XP, your FlexBoss, or whatever else it is that you've seen me install on this this channel and others, your Sol-Ark, your Victron, any other current approved inverter is completely unaffected. The ban only applies to new inverter models. If a manufacturer has not yet gotten FCC approval for a new inverter design and that inverter is made overseas, it is now blocked from receiving FCC authorization. So the rules now state that if you don't have FCC authorization and you do make it overseas, then you will not be getting authorization. Sorta. We'll get to that. Okay. It's not a China only ban, right? I've heard some people like it's a China thing or whatever. No, it applies to all foreign made inverters. And this is kind of huge, including those in Germany. So SMA or Australia or the Netherlands, right? So Victron gets caught up in this ban too, which is kind of crazy. I don't think anybody thinks that the guys in the Netherlands doing Victron are trying to take over America with their inverters. And anywhere else outside the US. So off-grid inverters are not explicitly exempt either. All right. Some people are saying, well, maybe it's just off-grid, or I mean, it's just the grid connected because it affects the grid, and off-grid doesn't connect to the grid. So is there a catch there? No, and we'll get to that. The rule targets any inverter with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or cellular communication capability. All right. So most modern off-grid inverters have that, and even ones used in my standalone DIY solar battery backup system. Even just so, I've got the Bouge RV 3000 watt. I think it's a 3000 watt inverter. It's got Bluetooth. It's exempt. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot of these manufacturers just strip out the comms through Bluetooth. All right. There is an escape hatch, though. Manufacturers can apply for a conditional approval by January of 2028, right? If they commit to moving production to the US and open their supply chain to federal auditors. Guys, I was reading through it and I'm going, they have they have to commit with teeth. In other words, like, you can't just say you're committing to moving your manufacturing over. If you don't, then you're penalized. So this is kind of nuts. But anyhow, supply issues are coming, but not today. They're saying this is a non-event for now, but the real impact is 1 to 3 years when current inverter models become obsolete. So I'm not telling you to rush out and buy inverters right now. That's not the point of this article, and it's not the reality of the situation. Current models are still flowing through the supply chain normally, so keep reading to understand why. Now, that's the most reading I'm going to do on this. I'm going to hit some bullet points. You can read through this yourself if you'd like to. So, what the FCC actually did, all right, the covered list and the explanation of it. So, I've got a TLDR of this, right? So, the FCC added foreign produced power inverters to its covered list, which I showed you a minute ago, the same federal mechanism used to ban foreign drones like DJI, right? I love my DJI Mini 4 Pro, but and because it was already given its certificate from the FCC or its filing, but we can't go get more, right? DJI keeps coming out with cool new drones and they don't even show them to us in America because it doesn't matter. And I'm not even allowed to bring one over. I can't circumvent it by buying one and then bringing it back. So that's crazy. All right. So that's what it is. It's been added to the list. All right. We got the primary sources here if you'd like to take a look at those. What does not change right now? Existing inverters are still legal, okay? Every inverter that already has the FCC ID is still legal to buy. We just covered this. All right. Does the FCC inverter ban affect off-grid or just grid-connected inverters? All right, some are saying it's different. The ban targets any inverter with Wi-Fi or Bluetooth cellular capabilities. Right, we already covered all this as well. So yes. Now, it goes into more here, more specification. And on page 4 of this document here, it has language that is basically saying this, and then at the end of it, it has a semicolon and it says and, right? So it's like if it has DC to AC or AC to DC, and it has these capabilities of communicating, why did I say that weird? Communicating, then it is problematic. So the word and is important. So there's that. Got a PC Magazine article here, or PV Magazine article we can take a look at. Bottom line for off-grid solar, pure off-grid inverters with no wireless capability at all are likely exempt from the ban, but it's still kind of iffy. Off-grid inverters with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, blah, 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 those are absolutely banned in the future. All right. The rule does not, it does not distinguish between grid tied and solar, or grid tied and non. Is the FCC inverter ban country specific? We already talked about this. No, it's not. Okay. Now, what counts as foreign produced? Well, the 65% Buy America rule is what we're basically taking a look at. An inverter must be manufactured in the US with at least 65% of its components cost from US sources through 2028. And that changes to 75% in 2029. All right. And if it doesn't have at least those minimum requirements, it is considered foreign produced, and it is banned, banning new models. All right. So there's those two numbers again. Excuse me, getting over being sick. All right. When does the FCC inverter ban go into effect? There is a staged timeline. The ban is effective immediately for new models. Existing models are unaffected. Manufacturers can apply for the conditional approval through January of 2028, and the real impact hits when current models become obsolete in 1 to 3 years. And by obsolete, I don't mean that they just stop working. I just mean they're out of date. There's newer tech. The rate at which these things go, they're obsolete. However, I'm going to be keeping my 6,000 XPs. So we've got that staged approach. You can read through that if you'd like. Moving on, will the FCC inverter ban create a supply and demand problem for solar? The reality is yes, just maybe not yet. The US only makes 7% of the inverters used here. So yes, supply issues are coming, but the impact is delayed because existing approved models are still flowing through the supply chain normally. So they can continue to just keep making the old ones and keep selling the old ones. All right. This is crazy. The current US solar market in 2020, only 7% of the US inverter shipments came from US headquartered manufacturers, right? The DOE data cited from the FCC, or cited by the FCC. That means that 93% of the US solar inverter market relies on foreign produced inverters, which is nuts. Okay, we do need to change this. And the US plans to connect 58,000 megawatt hours of new solar and storage in the next 12 months. Okay, so this was really interesting. While I was reading through the documentation, the government is going, we have a failing electric grid, so we need more inverters, but we have a problem with national security, so we need to get rid of inverters that are made outside of the United States. And so, oh my gosh. It's like, what do we do? What do we do? Short-term impact on solar inverter supply. Next 6 to 12 months should be minimal. In our world, investors are currently seeing this as a kind of non-event, right? Said Cohen. All right, so this has minimal impact today. We're seeing just different analysts kind of saying the same thing. We'll go on. Why the government did this? Solar inverter security concerns is basically the deal. All right, the FCC cited rogue communication devices found in Chinese inverters, remote shutdown capabilities, 46 discovered vulnerabilities, and ERCOT warning about grid collapse, even though the DOE found no malicious hardware. But here's the deal. Malicious hardware doesn't mean that the software can't become malicious at some point. So here's all of the reasons in a little bit more detail. Pour some water here real quick. I would love to hear in the comments what you guys are thinking. How does this affect your plans moving forward? One of the things that I keep thinking is when I go to RE Plus in November with Adam and Rodney from Unplugged DIY Solar, and we go there and we're looking around at all the things that are coming but not yet ready to come, which means they probably don't yet have their FCC filings. I mean, I feel like RE Plus is going to be a big, well, we were going to show you these things next year kind of event. What the FCC inverter ban means for DIY solar. Well, for specific brands, we have different issues. You can read through some of this stuff. We do have guys like EG4 who are manufacturing just north of me up here in Commerce, but I still think they're getting the majority of their parts from China. Okay. What could be a problem later? I'll let you go through their specific solar inverter brands, right? So EG4, they use using some of these builds, right? They assemble some of their units in Texas, but components are largely foreign. Existing models are still legal. New models depend on whether Texas assembly means 65% domestic. So we don't really actually know. I don't think we've peeked inside Solar 76 to really know how much is coming out of that facility. So, bottom line, what DIY solar folks need to know about the FCC inverter ban. It's real, but nothing changes today. Keep buying what you're buying. The squeeze comes in 1 to 3 years when current models become obsolete and manufacturers need new approvals. There's more here. Here's the complete source list from the FCC inverter ban. Let me know what you think. Share this article with someone who you think will find it interesting, and we'll take it from there. If you're interested, I just put out a full build on these two 12,000 XPs. Behind me, I swapped out my 6,000s to these 12,000s. Got the full thing. It's about an hour-long process. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Otherwise, where is it up here? This video is best for you. Talk to you on the next one.